All right, then.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Power! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
I'm Thom Lang. Join us for minute 63 of 1942's The Original Shooting Script.
That's the one.
Yep.
And it's August 1st.
Is it?
Yep. Today is August 1st. You made it through July, and now we're into August.
Okay.
The summer is right in the summer.
Yep.
Okay.
And one month closer to
our deaths.
Nightmarish dictatorship.
Well, let's not dwell on that so much, maybe, because today we are celebrating the birth of Earl C. Kenton.
Oh,
Now,
there
you
we
might
go.
know Earl C. Kenton as the director of such films as All New Thrills,
The Ghost of Frankenstein.
The Ghost of Frankenstein. I don't use the whole title all the time, you know what I mean? You don't have to say the whole title.
You don't have to say, Star Wars episode,
Sometimes I just
whatever,
say
The Empire
all,
Strikes Back. Yeah.
You mean Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, Special Edition?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just call it All New Thrills,
Sure. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Earl.
Well, you also might know him as the director of Island of Lost Souls,
That's a good one.
of House of Frankenstein,
I like that one.
and House of Dracula.
Okay, well, you can't win them all.
Yeah, for whatever.
No, I'm joking because I think I've said this. I like those movies. I like the three films that he just does the three, right? He doesn't do the next one. I think they get better. My favorite of those is House of Dracula.
Really?
My favorite of the three. So we're talking about Ghost of Frankenstein,
Right.
which we're ready to burn at this point. We're ready to just.
Yeah, you know what?
So sick of this fucking movie.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We've mentioned this numerous times. When we first started this podcast,
This was the part
we
we
were
weren't sure
joking
we could do.
about, wait till we get to Ghost. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
And I've actually found it to be a much more enjoyable journey than I was expecting.
Yeah, I think that's overall true, but it's still,
It's not great, but
not great.
it's not Son of Frankenstein either. So.
Meanwhile, I think House of Dracula is kind of great in some cool
Those
ways.
House
I think it's kind of
movies
cool
are-
what they did with it. I love House of Frankenstein too, but House of Frankenstein is more like almost like a cartoon. It's just like a fun little ride. Whereas House of Dracula, as I've said before, is a fever dream, and I actually did have a fever and watched it once. Or no, I think I just had taken a gummy, but I was just like fucking whoa.
I should try that.
I think you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Friday, if you join us on Friday, it's Myrna Loy's birthday. Who's Myrna Loy?
You don't know who Myrna Loy
I don't remember.
Seriously?
Yeah, who's Myrna Loy?
Well, she's
she's in the mom.
She's Mask of Fu Manchu. She's Karloff's daughter. Fu Manchu's daughter.
Right.
She was also Nora Charles.
She's Jenny Manchu.
Yep. No, it's Jill.
Jill?
Jill Manchu.
Jill.
She's also Nora Charles in the Thin Man series.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And 100 other things. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
I love her. I think she's great.
Well,
I
never get mixed up with anybody. On Sunday, we're celebrating the birth of Gustav von Seyfried.
You cannot confuse him with anybody.
Yeah, he's just a superstar in every way.
Yes, he is.
Like, no one's ever better exemplified the name Gustav von Seyfried than Gustav von Seyfried.
It's one of those things like Olaf Huyten and Leland Hodgson is once I, did the thing about him in Sun, I started seeing him everywhere.
Yeah. He's Gustav as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because we watched Remember Last Night. It was a James Whale kind of weird comedy.
Yeah.
And he's in that playing this bumbling photographer character. It was so different.
Remember Last Night?
It's Robert Young and is it Constance Cummings?
I don't think I've seen it. Wow.
And a lot of Whale actors that you would expect.
Wow. Why have I not seen it? I must have seen this.
I don't know.
Years and years
it's
ago.
difficult to come by because it's not on TV a lot.
Okay.
And I had to find a bootleg. In fact, I bought 2 different bootlegs in case one looked like shit and one might look better. They look exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're fine.
They're fine.
But yeah, all of a sudden he's fucking everywhere.
He was
and
born during the...
I knew who he was. I had seen him in other things, but it's weird that like those other 2 and Holmes Herbert, that all of a sudden
everywhere.
Everything I watch he's in.
He was born during the Civil War. He was born in 1863.
Was he?
Yeah.
But I believe he was born in Europe.
You think?
I think he was German, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, with a name like Gustav von Seyfertitz.
Yeah. No, he was
What's going on
born
in Germany in
Finland.
1863? Because is there a Germany in 1863? I guess there must be.
Yeah.
There's Austro-Hungary and Germany.
Yeah.
That's who fights in World War One.
Yeah.
Okay. They were bigger actually then. Also born on this date in 1792. You want to guess who was born in 1792?
1792.
Yeah.
Would have been born in 17. Was that Mary Shelley?
Close. Oh, so close.
Oh.
Percy Shelley.
Percy Shelley?
Percy Shelley. Tuesday we celebrate, or I'm sorry, it's Tuesday we continue to mourn the 60th anniversary of the death of Cedric Hardwicke.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had a kind of a sad decline there at the end.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he died almost penniless and
Oh, really?
was kind of losing his marbles, and he had some funky marital things going on.
Oh, yeah?
All along, I think he was kind of a hound. You wouldn't know it to look at him, but
Yeah.
And he married his first wife, and she was Lady Hardwicke, right? Because
Sure.
he was Sir. And he was having an affair with this younger woman, and his wife wouldn't give him a divorce, and they had a child out of wedlock. And then they finally, he was allowed the divorce and got married. She went crazy, and I think she divorced him as well, and he ended up being buried with his first wife, and I think he regretted losing that relationship with her all along.
Huh.
These are just little tidbits I've come across.
Yeah, you suddenly make me think...
I don't know the full details.
I'd hate to be buried with my first wife. I mean, she's fine, but that would be weird. Also, on Tuesday, August 6th, The Ghoul was released in 1933.
Speaking of Sir
Hedrick
Hardwicke, he's in that. So.
Oh, okay. I forgot him. Wednesday, just want to mention Jane Addams' birthday, and I believe that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. We like Jane Addams.
We do. We're Jane Addams fans.
Yes.
But we're not here to talk about Jane Addams.
No, not yet.
We're here to talk about minute 63 of Universal's 1942 film.
There Is Always Tomorrow.
What? Could there be a worse title?
Yeah, well, Destiny. That was
Yeah,
what they use all
true.
the time, too. I
Good
think
point.
that's what's on the Wolfman script.
Actually, I know I'm wearing my Revenge of the Cybermen shirt.
Of course. As am I.
Most Doctor Who Cybermen stories in the original run were called The Return of the Cybermen. That was just like a placeholder.
Okay.
Like Destiny.
Sure. Frankenstein is...
Stein.
That's where the minute... Because he was asked, who am I? Ludwig asked, who am I?
It's a big question.
Yeah.
But there's only one answer, really.
The only one answer is, you are Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That settles that, because it's been up for debate.
It's been, who knows?
Yeah.
Who could say? He's so multifaceted.
Yes, he is.
He's a clown. He's
a ballet dancer.
Yeah, he probably is that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner.
Eric looks from Ludwig to Junior, showing about as much expression as Lon Chaney has throughout the whole film.
Yeah, this
Just kind of blank, looking back and forth, like he's at a tennis match.
Most of the people in this scene play it as if this has been filmed more or less in order, and they can't wait to get home.
There's one big exception.
Yeah, of course. Atwill's always bringing it.
Well, actually, two, because I think
Hardwicke does okay in this.
Hardwicke's okay, but I think the voice of the monster at this point does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
It builds to it being less impressive, but it starts off really good.
Yeah.
Ludwig asks, and you are Dr. Kettering. So he answers his own question.
He does.
So I don't know why we need to go on.
That's right. That's the end.
Yep, you got it. Nailed it.
That's what he says. Yep. All right. Join us next week. Thanks, Jacob Walsh.
Well, we start Frankenstein's the Wolfman.
No, he doesn't say that.
No, he doesn't. Well, before he answers, I think we should talk about the voice.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering when we were going to talk about
Igor's voice is inexplicably transplanted into Junior. Maybe Bomer, threw that in as a little extra. Took his larynx out and put it in.
But I wonder, though, your voice is so many things, right? It isn't just your larynx. It's how you push air through your
Well, it is. It's the
folds
shape of
or
your
whatever.
mouth. It's your nose.
the
it's
labia. What are those things called? I don't know what things are called.
your labia.
I don't know what things are.
If you're talking through
Your labia?
yeah, you might want to see a doctor.
But I mean, to some extent, I guess. All right, so the absurdity of it, but you have to take someone's brain and put it into someone else's body.
I don't think the voice would change in the least.
So you
maybe the
think-
way you phrase things.
Wait, okay, but your accent would change.
Why?
What? Well, your accent would be your accent, right? You wouldn't start talking with a German accent if I put your brain in a German guy, or would it? Are you saying you'd be German all the? Well, you are German.
No, but you would not talk with the voice of the owner of the brain to begin with.
But the accent, though,
maybe,
we can at
yeah,
least say
maybe,
the
yeah,
accent
maybe,
you would
maybe,
expect would
maybe,
be.
yeah, the way you phrase words and.
I think
yes.
I got to be honest. I think your answer of maybe is the point to all of this. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either.
You can't put someone's brain in. And maybe here I got it. Little known fact: when you do a brain transplant, you have to take the vocal cords with.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean that makes about
Otherwise,
as much
they're
sense.
mute.
That makes about as much sense as anything else in
The
this.
sensory nerves.
Yeah, they feed the vocal cords.
feeding the vocal cords.
Yes.
So he says, "I am Igor." Then what's the next thing he says? He says again, "I am."
Well, he says,
Igor.
well, first, I am not Dr. Ketcher.
Oh, that's right. He does say that.
I am Igor.
Okay, so that's the other thing we didn't talk about. So when you talk about the voice, how did they do this? You had mentioned having Bela off screen.
I think Bela's off screen.
Because here's the thing
And-
about it.
and
I think it's really good.
It sounds better than most times when they do this, because most times I think it's post-dubbed.
Yeah, well, I guess I assumed it was dubbed
No,
or
it
that
doesn't
they
sound
were,
like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's there.
So I didn't.
So
so here's the thing I did. I went and saw a movie at the Heights called A Hard Day's Night, starring the Beatles.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, and the sound was fine. There was nothing wrong with the sound. But what I noticed was the lip syncing in the songs was off 100% of the time.
Oh,
It was
really?
just almost. It was very rare for them to get a word aligned correctly.
Now,
and I thought,
you
and
think
it,
is that in the projection that you saw, or is that?
well, no,
in
because here's the reason I don't think that is because the dialogue matched.
I don't recall that being
Yeah, maybe it was a bad. Maybe it
that
was.
big
Maybe
of
there
an
was
issue,
something
because
wrong
I mean,
with it.
this is a movie I've seen dozens of times.
I hadn't noticed it before, so maybe it was
yeah.
a thing with that. I mean, it was a digital projection, so you know how that fucking works.
Yeah.
Your computer decides that the sound is this, and you got to hit stop and
Yep.
reboot, and
Yep.
then it works.
Yep.
And they didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
So,
in the middle of it. Yeah.
anyways, the lip syncing, fantastic, way better than Hard Day's Night.
Yeah, I think it works really well, and I think Lon does a good job.
Yes,
And he's actually now showing some expression for the first time.
that's true too.
He's got this wicked grin.
Yeah, he hasn't. Lon Chaney doesn't utter a sound
Yeah.
as the monster. I don't
Right.
believe.
No,
not a
not a
single sound.
peep.
And now he's
Now
got tons.
he can't
to say.
shut up.
Now he can't shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he says, "I am Igor," and then the next thing he says is, "I am Igor." He does it in a different
Yeah.
tonality, and I really
Well,
love the
that's-
second
yes,
time. It's
yes.
like it's under his breath, like he's getting used to the idea himself. Like, "I am Igor." Well, actually, I forgot to mention something else. When he first says, "I am Igor," Atwill does a head turn, like to Cedric, like,
Yeah, well, I said that, yeah, Lon finally shows some expression.
Yep.
So maybe Lugosi's voice should have been dubbed into Chaney all along.
I think you can't imagine a better film than
Yep.
one in which the monster speaks with Igor's voice
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
Right.
That would
and
be
then-
the greatest Frankenstein film.
Yep, Ludwig is agog at this, and
He is a god.
Hardwick
He's doing
actually-
good work.
Hardwick actually shows some expression.
That's
so,
true.
So maybe Lugosi's voice should have been dubbed into Chaney all along.
I think so.
So they both would have given a better
There you go.
performance.
I think we should have Atwill do Hardwick do Anchors.
When the music stops, whoever's not dubbed by Lugosi is out.
There you go.
What have I done?
Yeah.
It's not so much what you've done; it's what Bomer's done. But
Oh, I like that he takes
no, I think he
responsibility,
takes
though.
ownership. Yeah. 'Cause-
Yeah, that's the way to go on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, it's part of his arrogance, right? Is to be like, all right, Bomer, you go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing, and then bring that brain in here, and we'll pop it in there. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Part of that arrogance is, are you sure this is the right brain? Like we talked about the scarcity of convolutions
Yeah.
in frontal lobe
Yep.
business.
That should have been a
Should have been
dead
forefront in
giveaway.
his mind. It should
Yeah.
have been right in his frontal lobe
Frontal lobe, but it wasn't. Yeah, I am Igor.
as he's getting
He's
up.
getting up. No, I
It's
agree.
really
This is
cool.
great. This is where I think Lugosi he really shines in the delivery.
Yes, it's true.
Is this sentence where I have the strength of 100 men?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've heard this line before.
It's
but
up from 10 in
Is it- was it
31.
10?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's tenfold worse.
Yep.
It starts
well,
with
Igor would know because he's pretty tough.
yeah, he is.
He had about the strength of maybe, say, 10 men, just as a man.
Igor, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled that
stone wall
fucking
open.
stone wall
without
open repeatedly.
Any help at all. Goes a little bit off the rails here. We get a little Lugosi-ish.
Which part?
What he says, I cannot die. I cannot be destroyed.
Yeah.
I
like
Igor will live forever.
Yeah. Thing is, dissection. We've been over this, Igor. See minute 39. I looked to see. It was minute 39 where he said, "Hey, he can't be destroyed." And someone said, "Well, what about dissection?" And he's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
No.
But he's my friend."
Yeah.
So, yeah, we know he can be destroyed because even he thinks so.
Right.
I mean, also, you could pull that brain out again and just stomp
just
on it.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty easy to kill the monster.
Yeah, I would think. I mean,
he's so susceptible to anesthesia.
Yeah, it doesn't take much at all.
Doesn't take much. It's not a problem.
They've been going about it the wrong way. Fire doesn't work.
Yep, boilers.
Blowing the place up doesn't
I thought you were going to say
no.
blondes. Blondes don't affect him.
They don't affect him at all.
No. He's not sexual, the monster.
No.
He just likes, he does like blondes. He likes that, shepherdess.
He likes the shepherdess. He ignores the goose girl altogether.
That's true.
Yeah.
He likes the little kids. He likes Donnie, or he tries to kill Donnie.
That's the thing about the goose girl that I recently discovered. I
All right.
wish I would have mentioned ages ago.
This is going to be, I'm
she
waiting
ended
with
up-
bated breath.
She ended up marrying Barton Yarborough, who was Kettering.
Wow. Bizarre.
Yeah,
It's not like they share scenes together.
Yeah.
She's only outside and he's only inside.
Years later, I think.
And she's one of my favorite actresses. Do you mean the man who is healing the six of mind? Okay.
We talked about that.
All right.
Can it be? Igor will live forever, and the music stops, just drops out dead.
It's awesome.
It's weird.
No, I like it.
Do you?
It's dramatic.
Yeah. It's just so abrupt because it happens on a cut as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was a real change there, but that would be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That could be.
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't. It's not like a. Usually, when there's a real change, there's either a change of it's going from one scene to the next.
Yeah.
Or some like Rope, where it's a drastic change of angle and attitude and stuff. Where this is just a cut back to Ludwig.
Bellamy?
So
Ludwig.
to Ludwig. So it would have been in the theater if it wasn't timed absolutely perfectly. It would have been odd.
Yeah.
So usually they leave some air in those so that if there is a lag from one to the next, it's.
I feel like we should watch it again. Nah, we're good.
So.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. And now Ludwig, again, is a cell phone. I've created 100 times the monster that my father made.
Yeah. I guess at this point we're forced to accept the construct of the criminal brain. And like I've said before, there's a value to that. But it's just taking the monster and going, well, this guy, he would be a superhero if we could just he'd be like Solomon Grundy if we would just put a good brain in him. I don't know what I mean.
Solomon Grundy, wasn't he a bad guy?
He was very much a bad guy and a fool. So really about the worst example.
Yeah. Then there's a great close-up of Boomer, just grinning ear to ear. He could not be more proud of himself.
This is working out perfectly.
Yep.
This is exactly what I wanted.
Fuck you, Ludwig. This is
all I've wanted for this whole time. Yeah. And this is the guy, as we talked about during that scene where he looks like he wasn't sure after Frankenstein complimented him and walked out of the room. Right. But it's the guy during the fade out
who grins.
Starts to grin.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll show you, fucker.
Yep.
I'll show you for being so kind and to let me live in your castle.
Yeah, and compliment me and
and bang your daughter. No, that's somebody else.
That's somebody else altogether. and Ludwig puts two and two together pretty quickly. Boomer, this is your work.
Yes. Good call.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, there's two of us. Let's see.
Let's see. It wasn't me, so it's been...
Yeah, so that's actually the thought process. Did I put the wrong? Let me think. How did I manage this now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had the brain. Okay, no, Boomer.
Boomer.
Oh,
Boomer. It reminds me of the line from Bride of Frankenstein. Pretorius, this is your doing.
He says that in that?
Mm-hmm. When the monster has kidnapped Elizabeth.
But does it say you're doing, does he? Does he say it to him? I thought he said it in his absence. Like, this was Pretorius's doing or something like that.
No, I think he says it to him.
I don't know. We'll have to go back and watch that one again.
Do that one over. Ludwig lunges / glides over to Boomer.
Hardwick has just got that.
He's just got a very graceful way
He's
of
very
moving.
graceful, even in his murderous rage.
But Junior grabs him and spins him around.
Yep.
Don't touch him, Frankenstein. You know.
Why not?
He's learned a little bit better English because in Son of Frankenstein, he's touch him, Frankenstein.
Oh, that's true.
So he's learned a little bit better.
It's been 2 weeks.
Well, and he's also, he fixed himself up between films, too.
That's true.
Went to an orthodontist.
Got that hump.
Got that hump taken care of.
What hump?
Exactly.
Yep.
He's my friend.
He does things for me.
He does. He
Yep.
puts my brain in this body for me.
Yeah.
Then it starts to
He does use the word friend in kind of a fun way.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have friends in the traditional way.
like say you and I have friends, or
I don't know. I'm not saying I'm capable of it either.
Okay.
But Igor is very much his notion of friend, as we talked about when he was talking to Bomer. He's going to put his Frankenstein's friend's brain into our friend or whatever. What do you mean? All that stuff. Like, I guess the monster is his friend in a real way. Too.
Yeah.
But now that's all. It's hard. Those lines are harder to draw.
It's a little bit blurry.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
I should kill you, Frankenstein. Then he thinks about it, and this, I think, is where it goes a little bit wonky.
Which part goes wonky? The
Where he
dubbing
says,
or the movie or what?
Well, maybe a little of all of them,
Yeah.
because he says, but after all, he gets reflective.
Yeah.
You're like,
It is
but after
weird.
all, your father gave me life, and you gave me a brain.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
What-
So your father gave me life because I'm the monster.
So I shouldn't kill you.
And so I feel this way. Like what would it mean to have your brain put in somebody else's body? I kind of admire the idea that someone would say, okay, well, now he says this because he is the monster. There's no question about it.
Right.
So he says, your father gave me life.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is
Sort
that
of.
what really happened to you?
Yeah.
But I guess. I don't know.
Well, see, that's where this starts to blur, and
Yeah.
moving forward, it gets worse. Not so much in the next film, but by House of Frankenstein, it's in one instance, I put your brain into the monster, and now you're going to be
that
the
stuff,
monster.
yeah.
But yet, I'm going to put this guy's brain in the Wolfman, and you're going to be the Wolfman all of a sudden. What part is the brain? What part is the soul? What part is the person?
Yeah, and we still don't. I don't know that we still have a handle on that.
Well,
but
you know,
it
because
certainly
we-
doesn't make sense the way they're doing it here.
Well, and it's because we can't do it in
Yeah,
real
true.
life, so who knows
Yeah.
what the answer is? You know, if my brain went into a different body, would I still be me?
It becomes very philosophical.
It does, yeah.
I've only recently been exposed to some of these notions of where do thoughts come from. Like the I can't remember the name of the philosopher who said, "I think, therefore I am." But even that's in dispute, right?
Rene Descartes.
Yeah.
You know how I know that?
Rene Descartes was a drunken fart.
I think, therefore I am.
There you go.
Yep.
I drink, therefore I
I
am.
drink, therefore I am.
The thing about that is I've heard it said that even I think, therefore I am is in dispute because, and was at the time, because it's more accurate to say thoughts happen. Like, where do your thoughts come from? You can't make yourself think something, so they just kind of happen. I don't know. This movie makes me very philosophical.
Well, now it's making me think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But then the other
I don't
thing
think we
is-
can know that though.
Yeah, well, it's almost tempting to consider it a religion, that there's some religious foundation. I got no time for that, and I don't think you do either.
No.
The other thing is, what would it take for you to say, your father gave me life? It's in Igor's voice because he now remembers that.
See, that's
It's
where
just weird.
That's where it gets weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your father gave life to this body.
That would make a lot of sense if he said it
If he
that
said
way.
that.
But I kind of like that he doesn't say that. Because that's not how Igor talks.
No, and then the next line it makes even less sense. But you gave me a brain.
Yeah, right.
You know that doesn't make any sense either. I think that makes
They
less
do
sense.
make sense, I agree, but in another way, they make sense together. Because now I am the monster.
No
matter how many times I've just said I am Igor, I'm not.
Yeah.
And if you're not Igor, then you can say these things.
See, that's where it gets confusing. And
These movies are fucking weird, man.
when you really think about it, yeah. I just know that I got to stop at the dispensary this afternoon and watch House of Dracula.
There you go. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
One just up the street. So he throws Ludwig across the room at a chair. Eric helps him sit down.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
It's a little weird.
It's odd, but it's okay.
It's fine.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No, it's not
Well,
like that.
honestly, next week
Next
I got
week
some
is-
more to
is
say
one of-
about that because I don't know what the fuck's even going on at some point.
Yeah.
So, well, okay, maybe it's not next week, but yeah. So he does throw him across the room into a chair, and at least for now, he seems to be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's fine.
It's weird that Bellamy and Hardwick were so sort of calm while he was saying, "I am Igor," and they're like looking up at him like, "Oh, look at that, that's
you're
weird."
Igor, huh?
Yeah, and then now he
Oh,
throws
yeah.
him, and it's like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Yeah. Oh, this is
Uh-oh.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And then there's a brief second of the mob at the door.
Is there?
Yes, very brief second.
Oh, perfect. That'll be perfect for a lead into next week.
Yes.
All right.
Got any more questions, wise ass?
And now, as people have no doubt been waiting with bated breath,
Yeah.
it's
like
time once again.
get past this talking about the minute shit and
all
get
the
to
birthday shit.
Yeah, get to
Celebrating the death of Cedric Hardwick. It is time once again for what do you call it?
well, you call it something.
Wise ass comments. Brought to you by Patreon. So what you do is you can go to Patreon, sign up for Wise Ass level, and I send out the minutes beforehand, and then we encourage you to make comments, and we promise to try to read them on the air.
And an easy way to access that is in the graphic for each episode.
That's right.
There's a QR code.
There's a QR code that sends you right to Patreon.
Unless you're looking at it on your phone, and then you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's not the only way to order it from the menu.
No, that's right.
So,
that's right. You do have alternatives.
Options, yeah.
Mike Herman writes,
Okay, good.
all
Everything's okay now.
is right with the world.
Everything's okay.
Mike Herman writes, the monster says you are Dr. Frankenstein in the graveliest and Hungarianiest voice imaginable, and Hardwick rambles back like an idiot.
Yeah.
And you are
And you
Dr.
are.
Kettering. It kills me every time. It's the most unintentionally hilarious moment in the Universal horror catalog. I guess so. Yeah,
It's up there. I still
I
think
like it
I
still,
still think
though.
Lon's sitting on the edge of the bed.
Yeah,
like
that's
his,
true. Good
His legs
point.
are dangling off.
yeah.
He's kicking them back and forth.
They should have given him that ball. We should have had that ball. Does anybody want to play ball?
Is that your Lon Chaney impression?
Just Lon Chaney playing a kid, I guess.
Okay.
Actually, I should have done it in Lon Chaney's voice because he
Yeah.
plays
Lenny?
Lenny. Yeah, I could have done it in the Lenny style. But I'm not going to.
Okay.
I don't know if Dr. Lang and Dr. Evenson would recommend this, but this is a hell of a movie to pair with a trip to the dispensary. That's funny. Because this grand Igor Stein finale will turn you into a giggling mess.
I'm sure.
That's a really good point, because I
yeah.
guess that shows where my head's at, because I'd rather go down the fucking weird trip that is House of Dracula. I mean, I think it's really cool how the guy transforms. Obviously, that's a big part of the movie, and it really is the movie, really. I mean, the movies, House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula get lumped in together, and I think it's fair, because they do have that similar
When they
sort
were
of
they were made,
episodic
they were
bump,
shot
bump,
in the
bump.
same week. So,
But there's that similar sort of episodic silly adventure,
Yeah, yeah.
and then we met the monster, and then we met the wolfman, and then we met they have that.
they have
but I
that
think
juvenile quality. I think is what you're talking about.
But what I think House of Dracula brings to it, the thing that puts it over the top, is that transformation into whatever the fuck he turns into, which
it's
is
like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of a
almost
thing.
like a Jekyll and Hyde type thing.
Yeah.
Charlie Paulson writes,
Well, one more thing about this, and I think Mike is right, is that this movie would probably, you'd be laughing if you went to the dispensary.
exactly. Yeah,
House of Dracula, you'd be like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, man.
I learned something. I felt something, man. Charlie Paulson writes, because of this minute, I should kill you, Frankenstein, and Igor, will live forever, stuck in my head all day. Thanks. Yeah, that's very quotable.
Welcome. You're welcome.
And it's true. It's really kind of exciting when it really does kind of happen. And I think we lose some of that when we analyze it minute by minute.
Yes.
When you're watching the movie, this is a hell of a moment.
It's on the, like I say, I've said many times, when I'm working on stuff or working on this, I'll put the Universal Horror Channel or the Universal Monsters Channel, whatever it is, or Mystery Science Theater on just to have in the background.
Yeah.
And this is on frequently.
Yep.
And have watched it all the way through.
Okay.
And yeah, obviously everything plays better watching the way it was intended.
The way it was intended?
Yeah.
Most things. Maybe not Caligula.
I don't know. We'll have to see the new edit. Yeah.
It's funny because I dipped into the Universal Horror Channel on Pluto
Mm-hmm.
for maybe a few weeks, and I find I don't go back to it. The one I always go back to is Godzilla
Oh, yeah, that too.
or Doctor Who.
Yeah, for some reason
but
I
Godzilla
haven't-
started
I
to
haven't-
annoy me more because it's always almost always the Japanese edits.
Yeah.
And Robert will always say, "Why are you watching that crap? You should watch the ones I made," because Robert makes the best quality of the original American releases. And I'm starting to come around to think, as background noise, it's better to have.
English
I guess
speaking.
it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if it's just Japanese, it's just noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The-
Because
I
I
did-
don't know Japanese.
Apparently, my 4-year-old grandson does.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I
Yeah.
sent the link.
That's awesome.
It's the end of, or no, it's not the end, but it's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. When they're summoning King Caesar, they sing a song.
Okay.
And he knows it by heart in Japanese.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Godzilla has a real it really does affect kids. And I don't know.
When I was a kid, I absolutely adored them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still do, obviously, but
You know what was on the other day was Godzilla's Revenge, or what do they call it? Whatever that one's called. People call it Godzilla's Revenge. It's got so many different names.
like Attack of the Marching Monsters or
I
All
can't
Monsters
remember.
Attack or something like that.
I can't remember if is that one. Yeah, I think it is. But that one's like so much for kids.
Yes,
that
definitely.
The traditional response when you look back on it, and it's reasonable, is to go, that movie's really fucking dumb. But then when it's on, it's like, you know what? This is really fun.
It is fun, but it also, Honda was making a serious comment about latchkey kids at the time.
That's true.
Because parents were working so much that all these kids were just sort of left on their own. And it wasn't a system
Abducted by
like bad guys.
criminals
Yeah,
and-
there wasn't a system in place to help them or to
Yeah.
guide them along. They were just sort of left to their own devices.
We should do a commentary on that. Let's not. Let's get. Let's see if we can get
Vincent
David Callett.
Callett, yeah.
Speaking of Vincent writes, Bomer's big dumb grin is one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is his moment.
Yeah.
It's never going to get any better than this.
Well, no, because moving forward, he plays a pretty benign part. These two films, this and Son, are, Atwill doing what Atwill does best.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I think they were just throwing him a bone. You're the mayor of Viseria, or I think he does that twice.
Yeah, he's definitely in the next one. Then
Yeah, he's the mayor, and then I think he's the mayor in the House of Frankenstein, and then he's just a cop in House of Dracula. Nothing distinguishing about him. It could have been Leyland Hodgson.
Yeah, that's
You know?
really true. He's still
Not
good.
not to denigrate
Not him,
Leyland
yeah.
Hodgson, because I've really grown to. He's another guy that shows up in everything I see now, and I'm like, hey, there he is.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, you're wearing your Atwill shirt, so it's good that we're giving him his
Giving him his due.
Will Hohenstein writes, Cheney finally gets to do some emoting. Dare I say, some acting. It's so true.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's completely different than he was. And it's only when the movie's not over. I'll have more to say about Cheney's acting as we go. But right now, it's really...
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is
amazing.
I said this is great. It's probably the best moment for both he and Lugosi
in this film.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Lugosi's had some good moments.
He has some good moments, but he is never the Igor of Son of Frankenstein. The Igor that stole that film.
Absolutely.
He never gets a chance to reach those heights, and I'm not sure why that choice was made.
In this film?
In this film.
Yeah.
To downplay him and make him sort of... he was like a grandma sometimes, worrying about, oh, they're going to know we did this. We'll get in the cart and run away. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a sort of a whiny Igor at times. There's a couple scenes when he's talking to Bomar where he's great. The two of them should have had, jettisoned Eric altogether and, had more scenes with Bomar and Igor. I mean, Eric serves a plot point to a small degree.
I haven't read the new script book.
No, I haven't.
Is Eric? You haven't? Is Eric in that?
I haven't.
All right, we're not talking about that. We made it a point. We're not going to talk about that. Join us. Look forward to that in coming weeks. And that's all the comments for this week.
Okay.
Thanks to Jacob Walsh, as always, for... I don't know if people realize this, that you hear the music playing. Jacob's right over there. He's playing it right
live
now.
every time we
thanks.
do it.
Hey. Oh, he can't see me. He can't hear me.
He's in the booth with
He's
the
in the booth.
headphones.
Yeah, it's fine. But thanks again, Jacob.
You really want to end with that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I want it to end.
All right.